Welcome to Aging Tales. Here we explore what aging really means, not as an endpoint, but as an ongoing invitation to look deeper, live more calmly, and make conscious choices about how we spend our time and attention. Let's explore together. In this video, we're going to talk about something that actually seems very simple, but for many people becomes increasingly complicated as we get older. We're going to talk about friendship. And not just friendship in the sense of having a nice cup of coffee together, but friendship as something that sustains you, as something that keeps you going, and sometimes also as something you miss without daring to say it out loud. Friendship in later life is a subject that almost everyone can relate to, because everyone knows it. And because everyone can lose it too. Why this topic is so moving? When you're young, friendship is often a natural part of life. You're surrounded by lots of people. You see each other all the time. But as you get older, that changes. And the funny thing is, friendship doesn't become any less important. In fact, it often becomes even more important. Because the older you get, the more things you used to take for granted start to fade away. Work, the hustle and bustle, children in the house, people you saw every day. And that's precisely when you realize it's incredibly valuable to have people who still see you for who you are. Not as a patient, not as someone who's getting older, but simply as yourself. Friendship used to be more of a given. Friendships used to form almost automatically. You sat next to someone at school. You worked together. You shared the same hobby. Your children played together. You didn't have to make plans. You didn't have to go looking for each other. You were simply together because life brought you together. And if you lost touch for a while, it didn't matter, because your surroundings would naturally bring you back together again. That's something we sometimes only realize we miss as we get older. That sense of it just being there. Friendship is more conscious these days. As we get older, friendship is far less a given. Not because people suddenly become less kind, but because life changes. People move house. People become less mobile. Some develop health problems. Some become carers. Others withdraw from society. And suddenly you realize, if you don't make a conscious effort to see each other, you simply stop seeing each other. And that can be painful at times, because you can know someone for years, and yet slowly drift out of each other's lives. Not because of an argument, but because of distance and silence. The true value of a friend. What exactly is a true friend? A true friend isn't necessarily someone you're in touch with every week. It's someone with whom you can be yourself. Someone who knows your history, who understands your character, who knows what you've been through without you having to explain it all over again. And sometimes the most important thing isn't what a friend says, but simply that they're there. That you know, if I ring, someone will pick up, or they'll call me back later. And that's a very deep sense of security. Friendship as protection. Friendship is more than just having a good time. Friendship protects you from loneliness, from the feeling that you are slowly fading away from the world. Loneliness isn't always about being alone. Loneliness is often the feeling that nobody really knows how you're doing, and friendship is exactly the opposite. Friendship is someone who still takes a bit of an interest in your life, someone who asks, "How are you really doing?" and who can handle the answer. Why friendships fade away. Many friendships don't end with a bang, but with a sigh. You call each other less often. You see each other less often. You think, we really must meet up again soon. And then months go by, and sometimes years. And there can be difference in lifestyle too. One person likes to get out and about, whilst the other becomes more cautious. One person is busy with their grandchildren, whilst the other is at home on their own. One person finds it easy to talk about their feelings, whilst the other doesn't. And then a distance grows. And that doesn't mean the friendship was a bad one. It often just means that life has changed. But it can be sad. Loss and vulnerability. Getting older often means saying goodbye more often. Sometimes to your partner, sometimes to family, sometimes to people who were always just a part of your life. And loss makes you vulnerable. And it is precisely at times like these that friendship is priceless. Not because friends solve the problem, but because they make it more bearable. Sometimes a friend is the one who doesn't walk away when you're feeling a bit down, who doesn't say, "Come on, cheer up," but who simply says, "I'm here." And that is perhaps the most beautiful thing anyone can give. The moment of retirement. Retirement is also a special moment. Many people look forward to it. And I understand that very well, but what often happens is that people underestimate how much social connection there is in work. You see colleagues, you have a chat. You're asked for your opinion, you have a role. And suddenly that stops. And then there is silence. And it's not surprising if someone feels a bit lost at that point. As if you're not just losing your job, but also a part of your identity. And at that moment, friendship becomes very important. Because then you need people who know you, not just as the one from work, but as a person. New friendships, is that still possible? Many people wonder, can I still make new friends after I turn 50 or 80 or 90? And the answer is yes. But it works differently than it used to. It used to happen naturally. Now it's time to take the initiative. And that's nerve-wracking, because taking the initiative also means taking a risk. You might be disappointed. You might feel like you're not welcome. But the great thing is, lots of people are looking to connect. It's just that they don't always dare to say so. New friendships often start small, with a chat, with a walk, with a shared hobby. And then it grows, slowly. Where do new friendships begin? New friendships almost always start when you do something together. Not by staying at home thinking, I really ought to see more people. That's an understandable thought, but it doesn't happen by itself. Friendship grows through repetition. You need to bump into someone more often. And that's why walking groups, volunteering, local activities, courses and clubs are so valuable. Not because you'll find a best friend there straight away, but because it helps you get back into the swing of things. You meet people without any pressure. And sometimes just one person is enough to make your world feel bigger again. The barrier, shame and pride. What holds many people back is something very human: shame. People think, I don't want to come across as pathetic. I don't want to bother anyone. They might think I'm boring. They might not have time. And pride often plays a part in that too. But it's important to realize this. Many people are struggling with exactly the same doubts. We often think that others have it better, but many people miss social contact. They just don't say so. And sometimes the bravest thing you can do is simply ask. Shall we meet for a coffee sometime? It's actually just a short sentence, but it can make a big difference. Maintenance. Friendship requires attention. Friendship isn't something you build once and then have forever. It needs looking after. It's not complicated, but it does require a conscious effort. A quick message, a phone call, a birthday card. And sometimes it's just a matter of letting someone know you're thinking of them. That might sound like a small thing, but it means a lot. Because getting older can sometimes mean feeling like you're being forgotten. And a single simple message can convey exactly the opposite. I still see you. Boundaries and honesty. But friendship isn't just about giving. It's also about recognizing boundaries. Sometimes people have different levels of energy. Sometimes one person can do more than the other. Sometimes someone becomes very dependent, and that can feel overwhelming. That's why it's good to know. A healthy friendship also means that it's okay to say no. You don't always have to be available. You don't have to solve every problem. It's okay to say, I can't manage today, or shall we take it easy? Friendship doesn't have to be perfect to be valuable. Sometimes just one good conversation a month is enough to feel connected. A little invitation. I'd like to finish with something very simple. Perhaps there's someone here who's thinking, actually, I really ought to give someone a call. Someone who once meant a lot to you. Someone with whom you've lost touch. Or someone about whom you find yourself thinking, I actually miss you. And so I want to say, just do it. Not tomorrow. Not next week, but just soon. Because friendship isn't always about grand gestures. It starts with a single small act of courage. A phone call, a text message, an invitation. And sometimes that's enough to let something grow again. I'll finish with this sentence. A friend is someone who doesn't solve your problems, but simply sits down beside you for a while. And that is perhaps the essence of friendship in later life. Did you find this video helpful? Like us and subscribe to the channel to receive more stories, practical tips, and brief reflections on aging. Click the bell icon if you'd like to be notified when new videos are posted. That way, you won't miss any of these conversations. Let's continue exploring together.